as we see. Mhm. Oh yeah, it was still seeking that the information. It was still seeking. It was still seeking that information, but also criticized that number as possibly being in the hundreds. Uh, it's okay. It's been alleged, the 665 or whatever you want to call it. I believe that is true. It's been alleged to my office that the data involved in element of the sexual misconduct, which comports comports with the proposed of the review that was done because of the Associated Press article. Grassley wrote in a letter, yeah, covering your ass, haven't you, Mr. Grass? Grassley wrote in a letter that was first shared with the APA. Somebody's covering their ass here. The committee welcomes any clarity the Justice Department is able to provide. Hmm. But we're going to leave that alone because I heard many things and we seen many things of even what they did to black people over many, many, many years. Ain't no more to me sometimes and can be no more than a Ku Klux Klan organization in governmental clothes with a badge, a gun, and office and big space and all kinds of good equipment to surveil your ass and bring down their garbage upon your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Maryland court hears argument on mail-in ballots. I don't believe in mail-in ballots, and that shit is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't even check the signature. You can't check a lot of things when it comes to mail-in ballots, and it's an argument that needs to just settle out quick and get rid of the mail-in ballots. I think it's one of the most bullshit, sneaky trick that anybody could really play, especially with a gerrymandering and when you call yourself trying to bring on a filibuster and also redirecting lines every time an election comes along. All to fit their narrative. Judge denies GOP appeal signature checks for signature checks on mail-in ballots. Checking that signature, like we just said. The ruling maintains that the statute the ruling maintains the status quo outlined in the state's law, which requires that all absentee voters fill out their ballots in the presence of two witnesses or a notary. You know what I'm saying? Requests from absentee ballots request forms in North Carolina must also include a date of birth and either a driver's license number or the last four digits of the voter's social security number. North Carolina Republican Party had filed a motion in Wake County Superior Court last week asking the court to block the state's board from enforcing its declaratory de, declare this is declared clarity. I guess they're saying declaratory or something like that ruling that prevents county, just use the regular words, county elections officials from comparing signatures and absentee ballots requests forms and return envelopes with a signature including voters restrictions, voters registration records. You know what I'm saying? Superior Court Judge Stephen uh, Porrell Botrel or whatever, Hurel, I don't know which your name is, Botrel, ruled from the bench Monday afternoon, denying the party a motion for a temporary to restraining order and preventing the use of signature matching in the 2020 general election, the 2022 general election state board spokesman Pat uh, Gannon said. Under the state law, absentee voters' identity is confirmed via confidential personal information provided by voters in requesting a ballot. The voters' attestation on the ballot envelope and attestation of two witnesses or a notary that the voter that the voter vote that the voter vote ballot cock wrote in a direct directives obtained by Associated Press. The board the board the board demon Democrat majority in July had rejected an initial signature matching proposal introduced by Republicans. Wow, citing concerns that it could create unequal voting access and allow partisan bias to contaminate the electoral process. Very well said. That's exactly what they have been doing. And they've been doing it a very long time. You see? And nobody's checking or putting them in check. So we see. So we see. hmm Republicans, for their part, argued signature verification is a necessary element of electoral transparency, in addition to pushing for its adoption. They are also fighting the state board, as we see here, proposed restrictions on party appointed poll watchers. They're cheating your elections. They're cheating the elections. The demon Democrats have got this election thing down to a pat where they are cheating from all directions, as we see, because there is no way that this should be had even came up in an election at all. But we see all the cracks and the holes that the demon Democrats have been using, including Hillary Clinton and the rest of these clowns. Excuse me. When we have those signatures on file, it is ludicrous not to be able to use them. You know what I'm saying? The North Carolina GOP chairman, Michael Watley. Michael Watley. This is a very common sense tool, and I think it's impeccable, impeccable, inexplicable that the Royal had instructed not only that the board doesn't have to use it, but that they can't use it. They're cheating, and that's clear to see. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you cannot check who in their rightful fucking mind in an election is not going to verify that every signature is authentic, true, and to the letter of its word. Using mail-in ballots does not that can easily be cheated and easily be corrupted in many ways. And to not check the background of the signature and so on and so on, that means that the demon Democrats are asking them to just let every ballot go in regardless of whether they check it or not. What kind of election process is that? Who does that? the election process. That doesn't even make sense. Every ballot in my book, if I was the president of the United States and I purport a law, I want every single ballot checked. Even if your ass got to get out on your fucking boots on the ground and go out there and make sure that every ballot came from every person you said voted. Or I would put up cameras to make sure that we keep a video check, and we'll also have, investigators that are there. As we see when it came to the ballot counting houses and places like that, there was a lot of locked door restrictions against the Republicans in many ways, such as when Donald Trump and I think Rudy Giuliani or one of them went to the ballot place and they told them they can't come in. Now, my question would be, here we're talking about two government officials, you know what I'm saying, but based on a Republican ticket in itself. They go to the ballot houses to just view the workers working and doing their thing, and they told they can't come in. When have you ever seen that before? Meanwhile, the demon Democrats are speeding through this thing as fast as they can be to squeeze creepy Joe Biden, totalitarian fascists, you know what I'm saying, extremists, Ku Klux Klan racists, you know what I'm saying, terrorists behind up in office, if you ask me. We've got to start looking at this thing from a better perspective. Has nothing to do with personality or personal or emotions. Oh, I love Biden. Oh, I love Trump. I love this. I love that. This has nothing to do with that. This has to do with getting our election process in fucking line like it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? You're very lucky that a person like me is not the president of the United States. You want to see how fast all countries will have full respect for us in all ways. Because what the thing of it is people have written up. This is what really took place. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of these people that came up after our race are people that we call the original black man, the creator of all you see here in its entirety, due to even technology today, you know what I'm saying, has been corrupted. So in other words, they're demonizing the creators of the creation of it all. But the problem with that is when they do that, they're only doing it based on their narrative to do corruption in many ways. So how in the world are they caring about the people when it comes to a lot of their stuff? So we know full well that when it comes even to the elections and different things, that they're going to cheat in order to stay into power, and then out of that comes nothing but pure garbage in the end. And then when people sit up there saying they're going to vote for this and they're going to vote for that, and then they do it and then shit happens, then after they vote the person, they give everybody a hard time and explain why you voted for that person. And we asking you, why didn't you vote for this person, or the lesser of the two evils? You sitting up there arguing us down the ticket, and then when you put them in, they put you through such a rigmarole, a rock, a ricka, rock, a rock, a ricka, bang, and then you come back to us and the people, and you say, oh yeah, y'all were right about that. They did this and they did that, and he's such an asshole and this and that. But how is that saving lives or even the future of the grandkids in any shape or form? It is not. So when you say to a person that you care about your grandkids, we don't see that. We see a group of people that infiltrated and took these things and then corrupt them all for the benefit of themselves while they destroy the very people who created it all. Same as when they use in these Bibles and these different things. You know what I'm saying? They control the narrative of writing that book. So what do you need with the book? Because every time you want somebody to focus on something, you talk about the book. We don't need to know about the book. Our people did it all. And you took it and corrupted it in order to benefit yourself, such as we see what's going on today with this Democratic and Republican vibe that's going on these days. You know what I'm saying? You know, you came in and just did a whole bunch of garbage to people in its entirety, and want us to respect that.